Phantom in the void. The stars hung like frozen teardrops against the endless black canvas of space as the Galactic Consortium patrol vessel GCS Sentinel drifted along the outer boundary of Sector 7. Commander Ilara Voss stood at the command center viewport, her tall, slender frame silhouetted against the stars. Her violet eyes, characteristic of her Alteran heritage, reflected the distant starlight as she sipped a steaming cup of Tureen tea. "Anything interesting on the scans, Lieutenant Krell?" she asked, not turning away from the viewport. The reptilian officer tapped his scaled fingers across the holographic interface, his compound eyes blinking in sequence. "Nothing unusual, Commander. Just the standard debris field from the Myconian asteroid mining operation and the regular merchant traffic to Outpost Delta 9. Ilara nodded, satisfied with the report, but not particularly excited by it. Border patrol duty along the outer rim was necessary but painfully monotonous. The consortium had maintained peace across its 12,000-member worlds for nearly 3 centuries. The last significant border incident had occurred before she was born. "Commander." The sudden urgency in Lieutenant Krell's voice snapped Ilara from her thoughts. "Sensors are picking up something unusual." Ilara turned, setting her cup on a nearby console. "Define unusual, Lieutenant." "A vessel, I think." But Krell's brow ridges furrowed as he manipulated the controls. "The readings don't make sense. It has no identification signal, no recognizable engine signature. And it's moving fast, faster than anything in our database." Ilara strode quickly to the sensor station. "Show me." The main view screen flickered to life, displaying a visual of distant space along with sensor overlays. At first, there appeared to be nothing, just the eternal void. Then she saw it, or rather, she saw the absence of something. A ship-sized shadow moving against the star field, visible only as it momentarily eclipsed distant stars. "What in the 7 hells is that?" she whispered. "Unknown configuration," Krell reported. "No heat signature, no radiation emissions. If not for the gravimetric distortion and its occlusion of background stars, our sensors wouldn't detect it at all." Ilara's training kicked in. "Alert status. All hands to stations. Open a communications channel. All frequencies." The Sentinel hummed as its systems powered up to combat readiness. The lighting shifted from standard white to a dim blue, indicating alert status. "Channel open, Commander," the communications officer reported. "Unidentified vessel. This is Commander Ilara Voss of the Galactic Consortium security vessel Sentinel. You have entered Consortium space. Identify yourself and state your purpose." Silence answered her. On the view screen, the shadow continued its course, seemingly unperturbed by their presence. "No response on any frequency," the communications officer confirmed. "Tactical analysis," Ilara demanded. Weapons Officer Talos, a stocky Tyrannus with metallic skin, shook his head in frustration. "Unable to determine armament, if any. Our targeting systems can't establish a solid lock. It's like trying to aim at smoke." "It's accelerating," Krell suddenly announced. "Current velocity exceeding tactical cruiser specifications by 40% and climbing." Ilara made a quick decision. Intercept course. Maximum sustainable speed. And continue hailing them. The Sentinel's engines flared as the ship changed course, the inertial dampeners struggling to compensate for the sudden acceleration. Despite being one of the consortium's fastest patrol vessels, Ilara watched with growing concern as the distance between them and the mysterious vessel continued to increase. "They're still accelerating," Krell reported, amazement evident in his voice. "Current velocity now 70% above our maximum sustainable speed." "Are they running from us?" Ilara wondered aloud. "Uncertain," Krell replied. "Their course hasn't changed since we initiated pursuit. For 20 minutes, they chased the Phantom ship across the sector. The Sentinel's engines strained at their limits, warning indicators flashing on the engineering console. And still the mysterious vessel pulled further away. "Commander, engineering reports we cannot maintain this speed. Drive systems are redlining. the operations officer reported. "Hold course for one more minute," Ilara ordered, watching the sensor readings intently. Suddenly, the mysterious vessel winked out of existence. "Contact lost," Krell exclaimed. "What happened? Did they jump to FTL?" Ilara demanded. Krell's fingers danced across his console. "Negative. No jump signature detected. No quantum wake. It's just gone." "That's impossible," Ilara said, moving back to the sensor station. "Nothing just disappears." "Sensor recordings confirm it, Commander," Krell insisted. "One moment it was there. The next, nothing." Ilara stared at the replay on the screen, the shadow moving against the stars, then simply vanishing without any of the telltale signs of FTL travel. No known species possessed technology that could do that. "Stand down from alert status. Hold position and conduct a full sensor sweep of the area. I want every piece of data we can gather about this encounter." As the crew carried out her orders, Ilara returned to the viewport, her tea long forgotten and cold. She gazed into the darkness where the vessel had disappeared, an uneasy feeling settling in her stomach. "What are you?" she whispered to the void. 3 days later, Ilara stood before the Consortium Security Council in the gleaming crystalline chamber at the heart of Nova Centralis, the administrative capital of the Galactic Consortium. The semicircular table before her seated 9 of the most powerful individuals in the galaxy, representing the major member species and political factions. High Counselor Fax, an ancient Quarian whose translucent skin revealed the slow pulsing of multiple hearts, leaned forward. "Commander Voss, we have reviewed your report and sensor logs. This is a most unusual encounter." "Yes, High Counselor," Ilara replied, standing at attention. "And you are certain this vessel was not employing any known cloaking technology?" asked Counselor Wren, a cybernetically enhanced Terran derivative who represented the Mechanist Alliance. "Our technicians have analyzed the data extensively," Ilara explained. "The vessel wasn't cloaked in any traditional sense. It simply did not emit energy signatures that our standard sensors are designed to detect. It was visible primarily through its gravitational effect on space and its occlusion of background stars." "And its method of disappearance?" inquired Counselor Zara, a crystalline Lumidian whose body refracted the chamber's light into rainbow patterns on the walls. "Unknown, Counselor. It did not display the quantum signature of FTL travel, nor did it exhibit the spatial distortion of dimensional folding. It simply vanished." The counselors exchanged glances, their concern evident even across species with radically different physiologies. Admiral Thrask, the grizzled Valorian military representative, tapped a clawed finger against the table. "What we're discussing here is technology that shouldn't exist. No known species in the consortium or beyond possesses the capability to travel at such speeds without detectable engines, nor to disappear without a jump signature. Which leaves us with troubling possibilities," added Counselor Wren. "Either we are dealing with an unknown species with technology far beyond our own, or one of our own has made a breakthrough they haven't shared," finished Thax. Silence fell over the chamber as the implications settled. The consortium's stability rested on technological parity among its major powers. A significant advancement by one faction could destabilize centuries of peace. Intelligence Director Millar, a shadowy figure rarely seen outside secure facilities, activated a holographic display. "We've been analyzing patterns of unusual sensor contacts over the past 6 standard months. There have been 11 similar sightings, all dismissed as sensor anomalies or unexplained phenomena. However, when mapped together, the hologram showed a star map with points of light indicating the sightings." Ilara studied it carefully. "They're probing our borders," she concluded, "working their way inward from the outer rim." "Precisely," Miller confirmed. "And the pattern suggests they're focusing particular attention on this region." The hologram zoomed in on a sector near the edge of consortium space. Admiral Thrask leaned forward. "That's the approach vector to the Sol system, homeland of the humans." Ilara raised an eyebrow. Humans were among the newest additions to the galactic community, having achieved faster-than-light travel only within the last century. They were considered a minor species, technologically primitive compared to the founding races of the consortium. Humans, she asked, unable to keep the surprise from her voice. They're barely space-capable by consortium standards. Or so we believed, Director Mellor said quietly. Our intelligence on Earth has been limited. The humans have proven exceptionally protective of their technological research. They joined the consortium for trade benefits, but have kept much of their military and scientific development isolated. High Counselor Thax's expression darkened. If the humans have developed technology this advanced without sharing it with the consortium, it represents a serious breach of their membership agreement. We shouldn't jump to conclusions, Counselor Zara cautioned. We have no proof this vessel is of human origin, which is why we need more information, Admiral Thrask stated. Commander Voss, given your first-hand experience with this phantom ship, I'm assigning you to lead a task force. Your mission is to locate, identify, and if possible, intercept this vessel. Ilara nodded crisply. Yes, Admiral. What resources will I have at my disposal? The Sentinel is being upgraded with our most advanced sensor array, Thrask replied. Additionally, you'll be joined by the GCS Indomitable and the GCS Whisper, our newest stealth cruiser. Director Mellor will also be assigning a special intelligence team to your task force. And your diplomatic authorization, added High Counselor Thax. If your investigation leads to Earth, you are empowered to request information directly from their government. Make it clear that full cooperation is expected under the terms of their consortium membership. One more thing, Director Mellor interjected. This mission is classified at the highest level. The general public must not learn of a potential technological imbalance within the consortium. Such knowledge could cause panic or, worse, inspire aggression from opportunistic factions. Ilara understood the gravity of the situation. A mysterious ship with technology beyond consortium capabilities represented a potential threat to the delicate balance of power that maintained galactic peace. I understand my orders, she said firmly. When do I depart? Immediately, Admiral Thrask replied. The Sentinel's upgrades will be completed within 6 hours. Your additional ships and personnel will rendezvous with you at Outpost Gamma 3. As the meeting concluded, Ilara's mind raced with possibilities. She had joined consortium security to maintain peace and order, but she'd never imagined being at the center of what could become a major interstellar incident. The newly upgraded Sentinel slipped through the darkness of space, its enhanced sensors reaching out to detect the faintest anomalies. Ilara stood on the bridge, reviewing the compiled intelligence reports on human technological development. It doesn't make sense, she muttered. According to these reports, humans are still reliant on reaction drives and basic fold engines for their military vessels. Nothing remotely close to what we observed. Science Officer Varys, an Aquilian with iridescent scales and webbed hands, looked up from her station. Perhaps they've compartmentalized their research, created a black project unknown even to most of their own government. Even so, the technological leap is extraordinary, Ilara replied, scrolling through the data. It would be like a Stone Age culture suddenly developing quantum communications. Humans are unpredictable, Varys offered. In my anthropological studies, I found them remarkably adaptable. They make intuitive leaps that other species might miss because we're too focused on methodical progression. Lieutenant Krell's voice interrupted their discussion. Commander, we're picking up gravitational distortions matching the Phantom ship's signature. Ilara immediately moved to the central command position. Location: bearing 227 Mark 35. Approximately 2 light minutes from our position. It just appeared, Commander. No approach vector. Alert the Indomitable and the Whisper. Coordinate sensor coverage. I want triangulation on that contact. She activated the ship-wide communication. All hands to alert stations. This is not a drill. The bridge burst into activity as officers rushed to their stations. The main view screen activated, showing empty space where the sensors indicated the contact. Visual enhancement, Ilara ordered. The screen adjusted, filtering starlight and enhancing contrast. And there it was again, the shadow against the stars, moving with impossible grace. Now that she knew what to look for, Ilara could just make out its form. Sleek, predatory, unlike any vessel design in the consortium registry. It's on a direct course for the Galileo wormhole nexus, Krell reported. Current velocity suggests it will reach the nexus in approximately 7 minutes. The Galileo nexus was one of the busiest transportation hubs in this sector, connecting 5 major systems through artificially maintained wormholes. If this phantom vessel had hostile intentions, it couldn't have chosen a more devastating target. Intercept course, maximum speed, Ilara ordered. Alert Nexus Control. Recommend immediate security protocols. The Sentinel surged forward, its newly upgraded engines pushing it faster than before. On parallel vectors, the Indomitable and Whisper also moved to intercept, attempting to create a net around the mysterious vessel. The target has increased speed, Krell reported. It's now exceeding our maximum velocity by 20%. We won't catch it before it reaches the nexus, Talos concluded grimly. Ilara's mind raced through options. Whisper, execute microjump. Position yourself between the target and the nexus. Commander, the communications officer called. Captain Soren on the Whisper acknowledges and is executing microjump now. On the tactical display, the Whisper disappeared from its position and reappeared directly in the Phantom ship's path, less than 30 seconds from the nexus. They've activated their interdiction field, Talos reported. If that ship tries to pass through it, they'll be forced to drop to sublight speeds. Everyone on the bridge held their breath as they watched the Phantom ship approach the invisible barrier created by the Whisper's technology. As the vessel hit the interdiction field, its outline seemed to waver, becoming momentarily more substantial. "We've got it," Krell exclaimed. But the celebration was premature. Instead of slowing, the Phantom ship's outline pulsed with a strange blue-green light. The Whisper's interdiction field visibly distorted, creating a rippling effect in the space around it. The Whisper reports their interdiction field is collapsing, the communications officer announced, alarm evident in her voice. They're detecting some kind of countermeasure technology they've never encountered before. The Phantom ship slipped through the failing interdiction field like water through fingers. But for a brief moment, as its systems interacted with the Whisper's technology, the vessel became fully visible. "Capture that image," Ilara commanded. On the screen, they all saw it clearly for the first time. A sleek, midnight black vessel with sweeping lines and no visible propulsion system. Most striking was the emblem emblazoned on its hull, a stylized eagle grasping lightning bolts, with a single star above it. Varys gasped. "That's a human military insignia. Specifically, their Space Force." The Phantom ship accelerated away from the Whisper, approaching the nexus at tremendous speed. But instead of entering any of the wormhole apertures, it simply passed by the massive structure, continuing on its previous heading. It wasn't targeting the nexus, Ilara realized. It was scanning it. As they watched, the Phantom ship suddenly pulsed with that same blue-green light, and then vanished, not jumping to FTL, not cloaking, but simply ceasing to exist in detectable space. Analysis of that emblem, Ilara ordered, turning to Varys. "Confirm it's human in origin." Varys worked quickly, comparing the captured image to database records. "Confirmed, Commander. That's the insignia of Earth's Advanced Space Projects Division, a secretive research and development branch of their military." Ilara's expression hardened. "Set course for Earth. We need answers, and I intend to get them directly from the source." As the Sentinel and its companion ships reoriented toward the distant Sol system, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that they were witnessing the beginning of something that would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. The humans, it seemed, had been hiding capabilities far beyond what anyone in the consortium had imagined possible. And the implications were as vast as space itself. The human factor. The blue-green marble of Earth grew larger in the view screen as the consortium diplomatic vessel approached. Commander Ilara Voss stood with her hands clasped behind her back, studying the cradle of humanity with carefully masked curiosity. Despite centuries of interstellar travel, she had never visited Earth before. Few non-humans did. The humans, for all their participation in the consortium's economic and scientific initiatives, maintained a curious insularity about their homeworld. "Quite beautiful, isn't it?" remarked Ambassador Thelian, the consortium's senior diplomatic representative assigned to this mission. The Andorian's blue skin seemed to shimmer in harmony with the planet's oceans. "Beautiful, yes," Ilara agreed, "but also puzzling. For a species so recently arrived on the galactic stage, they've been remarkably successful at maintaining their independence." Thelian smiled, the expression revealing rows of small, perfectly aligned teeth. "Humans are paradoxical by nature, Commander. They joined the consortium enthusiastically for trade and knowledge exchange. Yet they guard their military and advanced research programs with unparalleled secrecy. A secrecy we're about to challenge," Ilara noted. The communications officer interrupted their conversation. "Earth Space Control has acknowledged our approach and is transmitting landing coordinates. We've been directed to their diplomatic reception center in Geneva." "Acknowledged," Ilara responded. "Take us in according to their flight path." As they descended through Earth's atmosphere, Ilara observed the sprawling cities and vast wilderness preserves that characterized the human homeworld. Unlike many advanced consortium worlds with their perfectly planned global metropolises, Earth maintained a chaotic blend of urban development and pristine natural spaces. The diplomatic vessel touched down on a circular landing pad adjacent to a sleek glass and stone structure nestled between mountains and a large lake. A small delegation waited on the tarmac, all human, Ilara noted with interest. No consortium representatives stationed on Earth had been invited to this reception. Ambassador Thelian led the way down the boarding ramp, followed by Ilara and a small contingent of consortium officials. The humans stepped forward to meet them, led by a distinguished woman with silver-streaked dark hair and an air of unquestionable authority. "Ambassador Thelian, welcome to Earth." The woman greeted them with a practiced smile. "I am Director Helena Reyes of the United Earth Diplomatic Corps. We were surprised by your unscheduled visit." "The surprise is mutual, Director Reyes," Thelian replied smoothly. "Recent events have necessitated direct consultation with your government on matters of significant importance to consortium security." Reyes's smile remained fixed, but Ilara detected a subtle tightening around her eyes. "Of course. We've prepared facilities for your delegation. If you'll follow me, Secretary General Okafor is waiting to receive you." As they walked through the expansive atrium of the diplomatic center, Ilara noticed the subtle security measures in place, far more extensive than would be typical for a routine diplomatic visit. Discrete scanner arrays, security personnel positioned at strategic intervals, and what she strongly suspected were weapons disguised as architectural elements. They were escorted to a circular chamber with views of both the mountains and the lake. At its center stood a large round table where several humans were already seated. At the head sat a powerfully built man with close-cropped gray hair and penetrating dark eyes. "Ambassador Thelian." The man rose, extending his hand in the human greeting custom. "I am Secretary General Adebayo Okafor. Welcome to Earth." After introductions were completed and refreshments served, a human custom that Ilara had researched but still found curious, they turned to the matter at hand. "Secretary General," Ambassador Thelian began, 3 standard days ago, one of our patrol vessels encountered an unidentified ship with technology far beyond anything officially registered within the consortium. This vessel displayed capabilities that violate several technological sharing provisions of your membership agreement. Without preamble, Thelian activated a holographic projector, displaying the image they had captured of the Phantom ship, complete with its distinctly human military insignia. The reaction from the humans was immediate but controlled. Secretary General Okafor's expression remained impassive, but several of his advisors exchanged glances. Director Rice leaned forward slightly, her focus intensifying. Furthermore, Thilian continued, this vessel has been observed multiple times over the past 6 months, progressively probing deeper into consortium territory. Its technology, specifically its propulsion system, and its ability to vanish without conventional FTL signatures, represents a potential destabilizing factor in our carefully maintained balance of power. Secretary General Okafor studied the hologram for a long moment before responding. Ambassador, I appreciate your concerns, but I'm afraid there must be some misunderstanding. While that insignia does indeed belong to our Advanced Space Projects Division, Earth possesses no vessel with these capabilities. With respect, Mr. Secretary General, Ilara interjected, unable to remain silent. I personally witnessed this ship. Our sensors recorded its movements and capabilities. The evidence is irrefutable. Okafor turned his gaze to her, his eyes calculating. Commander Voss, is it? I don't dispute your encounter, merely your conclusion about its origin. The use of our insignia could be a deliberate attempt by another faction to implicate Earth in treaty violations. A sophisticated false flag operation. Ambassador Thilian sounded skeptical, using technology that no known consortium race possesses. Perhaps, Director Rice suggested, this is technology developed by non-consortium species from beyond our shared borders. Ilara noticed a subtle communication passing between the humans. Minute gestures, fleeting glances. They were buying time, she realized, or coordinating their response. Mr. Secretary General, she said directly, our analysis indicates this vessel originated from, or has frequently visited Earth space. If this represents a security threat to both Earth and the wider consortium, cooperation would be in everyone's best interest. Before Okafor could respond, an aide hurried into the room and whispered urgently in his ear. The Secretary General's expression darkened momentarily before resuming its diplomatic neutrality. It seems, he said, rising from his seat, that this discussion should include other perspectives. If you would follow me, Ambassador, Commander, I believe we can shed more light on this situation. Curious and somewhat suspicious, Ilara and Thilian exchanged glances before following Okafor and his team through a series of secure corridors and elevator platforms that took them deep beneath the diplomatic center. They eventually emerged into a vast underground complex that hummed with activity. Welcome to the United Earth Strategic Command Center, Okafor announced as they entered a massive operations room filled with holographic displays and control stations. What I'm about to share with you is classified at the highest level within Earth government. The central holographic display activated, showing a three-dimensional star map of consortium space. Red markers pulsed at various locations. For the past 18 months, Okafor explained, we have been tracking anomalous energy signatures throughout this region of space. Initially, we believed they were natural phenomena, quantum fluctuations or micro-wormhole formations. However, pattern analysis suggested deliberate movement. Director Rice took over the briefing. 6 months ago, one of our research outposts near the Proxima Centauri system was visited by something we couldn't properly detect or identify. It appeared briefly on our sensors before disappearing. The only evidence of its presence was this. She activated another hologram showing what appeared to be a small metallic sphere, approximately the size of a human fist. This device was found attached to our outpost's main communications array. It contained sophisticated scanning and transmission technology, unlike anything in our records. Analysis suggested it was gathering information about our defensive capabilities and communications protocols. You believe you are being observed? Thilian asked, his antennae twitching with interest. We know we are, Okafor confirmed, and not by any consortium species. Ilara studied the holograms carefully. And the phantom ship? The one bearing your military insignia? A new voice answered from behind them. That would be the Phantom. An appropriate name, don't you think? They turned to see a lean, athletic human male in his late 40s approaching. He wore a simple black uniform without insignia, but his authoritative bearing suggested high rank. Ambassador Thelian, Commander Voss, this is Captain Marcus Chen, director of the Phantom Project. Okafor introduced. Captain Chen nodded curtly. What you encountered, Commander, was indeed one of ours. The CSV Phantom is a prototype vessel designed specifically to investigate these anomalous contacts. You created a ship that violates consortium technology sharing agreements to chase sensor ghosts. Ilara asked skeptically. We created a ship, Chen corrected, that could move and operate beyond the detection capabilities of known consortium technology, because whatever we're dealing with can do exactly that. And they were here first. He activated a personal holographic projector, displaying a timeline. 3 years ago, we detected the first anomaly. 2 years ago, we lost contact with a research station in the Kuiper Belt. Over 500 personnel, just gone. No distress call, no debris field, nothing. 6 months later, the same thing happened to a mining operation on Europa. You'd never reported these incidents to the consortium, Ambassador Thelian noted, his tone carefully neutral. No, Okafor admitted. Earth's leadership made the decision to investigate independently before bringing potentially alarming and unsubstantiated concerns to the wider galactic community. Captain Chen manipulated the holographic display, showing the design schematics of the Phantom. The vessel you encountered represents an entirely new approach to space travel. It doesn't use conventional engines or known FTL technology. Instead, it manipulates the quantum structure of space-time itself, essentially sliding between the fabric of normal space. Impossible, Ilara stated flatly. Such technology is theoretical at best. For the consortium, perhaps, Chen replied with a hint of pride. Humanity has always approached physics creatively. The Phantom Project combines principles of quantum entanglement and dimensional folding in ways your scientists dismissed as impractical. And its ability to vanish. Thelian inquired. The ship doesn't technically vanish, Chen explained. It phases partially out of our dimension, becoming undetectable to conventional sensors while maintaining the ability to observe normal space. We call it shadow state. Ilara struggled to process the implications. If humans had developed such technology independently, what other capabilities might they have kept hidden from the consortium? Why reveal this to us now? She asked directly. Okafor and Chen exchanged glances before the Secretary General answered. Because the situation has escalated. The Phantom's most recent mission was to track one of these anomalous contacts back to its point of origin. The data it gathered is concerning. Captain Chen activated a new holographic display, showing a region of space beyond the consortium's borders. The Phantom followed the contact to this location, a previously uncharted system approximately 70 light-years beyond the outer rim. What it found there has changed everything. The hologram zoomed in to reveal a massive structure orbiting a dead star, an artificial construct of impossible scale, at least 500 kilometers in length. Some kind of space station. Thelian wondered. A manufacturing facility, Chen corrected grimly. The Phantom observed dozens of vessels, similar to the ones we've been tracking, coming and going from this structure. Based on energy output analysis, we believe this facility has been operational for at least several centuries, possibly millennia. Manufacturing what exactly? Ilara asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. Automated probe ships, Chen confirmed. Thousands of them. Small, nearly undetectable vessels designed to infiltrate, observe, and likely map every aspect of consortium space. And the purpose of this surveillance? Thelian pressed. Secretary General Okafor's expression was grave. Based on the patterns of deployment, and the focus on our defensive installations, military vessels, and communication networks, our analysts believe we're witnessing the reconnaissance phase of a planned invasion. Silence fell over the room as the magnitude of this revelation sank in. If true, it represented an existential threat not just to Earth but to the entire consortium. "We need to inform the Security Council immediately," Thilian said, recovering his composure. "With what evidence?" Chen challenged. "The word of the humans whose secret military project violated multiple consortium treaties. The Phantom's sensor logs, which reveal technology the Council will claim is impossible." "Captain Chen is right," Okafor added. "We need irrefutable proof before bringing this to the Council, and we need to understand what we're facing. Which is why," Chen continued, "the Phantom has been deployed on increasingly deeper reconnaissance missions into consortium space, testing the reaction of these probe ships, learning their capabilities, preparing for what may come. So when we detected and pursued your ship," Ilara began. "You inadvertently interfered with a critical mission," Chen finished. "The Phantom was tracking a cluster of these probes near the Galileo Nexus. Your interdiction attempt forced our operative to abort and return to Shadow State before completing the mission." Director Reyes stepped forward. "Commander Voss, Ambassador Thilian, we understand this revelation comes as a shock. Earth should have approached the consortium with our concerns earlier. But now we face a potential threat of unprecedented scale, and we need to work together. The Phantom is scheduled to embark on its most ambitious mission yet," Chen explained. "We've identified what appears to be a command node for these probe ships within consortium space, a hidden relay station coordinating their movements. The Phantom will infiltrate this location, gather definitive evidence of the threat, and return." "When?" Ilara asked. 24 hours, Chen replied. "And given your expertise and first-hand encounter with our vessel, Commander Voss, we're formally requesting your participation in this mission." Ilara was momentarily speechless. The request was unprecedented. A non-human officer invited to join what was clearly Earth's most classified military operation. Ambassador Thilian looked equally surprised. "This would require approval from the Security Council. Commander Voss is under consortium authority, not Earth's. Time is a luxury we don't have," Okafor countered. "The command node exhibits cyclical activity patterns suggesting a major data transmission event in approximately 56 hours. If we miss this window, we may lose our best opportunity to understand what we're facing." Besides, Chen added with a slight smile, "Commander Voss's presence would serve as a guarantee of transparency. The consortium's witness to whatever we discover." Ilara considered the proposition carefully. If the humans were telling the truth, this represented a genuine threat that required immediate investigation. If they were lying, using this elaborate story to cover their treaty violations, her presence would allow the consortium to learn more about the mysterious Phantom ship and its capabilities. "I'll need to contact my superiors," she said finally. "Of course," Okafor agreed, "but I urge you to be discreet. If these probe ships are monitoring consortium communications as thoroughly as we believe they are, a direct discussion of their existence could alert them." As arrangements were made for Ilara to send a secure communication to Admiral Thrask, she found herself studying Captain Chen more carefully. The human carried himself with the confident poise of a veteran officer, but there was something else in his manner, an intensity that suggested personal stake. "This mission to the command node," she asked him quietly while the others discussed logistics. "Why are you leading it personally? Surely the director of such an important project would typically remain at headquarters." Chen's expression tightened almost imperceptibly. "The Europa research station that disappeared. My sister was the chief quantum physicist there. This isn't just about Earth's security or even the consortium's for me. It's about finding answers." Before Ilara could respond, alarms blared throughout the command center. Screens flickered as officers rushed to their stations. "Report," Okafor demanded. "Multiple contacts, sir," a young officer responded, fingers dancing across holographic controls. "They just appeared in lunar orbit. No approach vector detected, no warning." "Configuration?" Chen asked sharply. "Similar to the probe ships we've been tracking, but larger. Much larger." The main display activated, showing a real-time feed from Earth's orbital defense platforms. Sleek, obsidian vessels hung in space, their organic curves reminiscent of deep-sea predators. Ilara counted 7 of them, each at least twice the size of a consortium heavy cruiser. "They're scanning our defense grid," an officer reported, "penetrating our security protocols like they aren't even there. Attempting communication on all frequencies," another officer called out. No response. Chen turned to Okafor, his expression grim. "They're not here to talk, sir. The reconnaissance phase is over." As if to confirm his assessment, the alien vessels began to move, spreading out to form a pattern around Earth's orbital defense platforms. "Defensive posture," Okafor ordered. "All platforms to Condition 1. Alert the fleet." Ilara watched the unfolding situation with mounting dread. If these were indeed the advanced forces of an unknown invader, the consortium needed to know immediately. "Ambassador," she said urgently to Thilian, "we need to send an emergency transmission to the Security Council. Whatever Earth has been hiding, whatever treaties they've bent, none of that matters now." Thilian nodded in agreement, but before he could respond, the command center's communications officer called out in alarm. "Sir, all subspace communications channels are being jammed. We can't get a signal out of the system." On the main display, the alien vessels began to glow with an eerie blue-green light, the same energy signature Ilara had witnessed when the Phantom ship phased out of normal space. "They're attacking," an officer shouted as the nearest Earth defense platform erupted in a silent explosion. "Get to the Phantom," Chen said urgently, gripping Ilara's arm. "If these are advance forces, the main fleet won't be far behind. The consortium needs to be warned, and right now, the Phantom is the only ship that might be able to slip past their blockade." Ilara hesitated, torn between duty to the consortium and the crisis unfolding before her. "Go," Ambassador Thilian urged her. "I'll remain with Earth's leadership. The treaty considerations are my responsibility. Your duty now is to ensure the consortium can prepare for what's coming." With a quick nod of acknowledgement, Ilara followed Captain Chen as he rushed from the command center. As they hurried through corridors now filled with personnel responding to the emergency, she reflected on the irony of the situation. She had come to Earth to confront humans about their secret technology, only to find herself depending on that very technology for survival. The Phantom is docked at a secure facility beneath Olympus Mons on Mars, Chen explained as they boarded a suborbital transport. "We need to get there before those ships extend their blockade to the entire system." As the transport lifted off, Ilara caught a final glimpse of Earth's orbital defenses engaging the alien vessels. Energy weapons flashed against the black of space, seemingly absorbed by the invaders' hulls without effect. The human homeworld was under attack, and the fate of the entire consortium might now rest on a ship that technically shouldn't exist and a mission that had never been authorized. "Tell me everything about this Phantom technology," she said to Chen as Earth receded behind them. "If we're going to warn the consortium, I need to understand exactly what we're dealing with, both the threat and the ship we're using to escape it." Chen nodded grimly, pulling up detailed schematics on the transport's display system. "It all started with a theoretical physics breakthrough about 5 years ago. We discovered that space-time isn't quite as stable as previously thought. Under the right conditions, matter can exist in a state of quantum superposition relative to dimensional boundaries." As he explained the complex principles behind the Phantom's revolutionary technology, Ilara listened intently, her mind already racing.